alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back row. All I really take is a little taste. Island girl, blue eye.
Namaste and welcome to the New Zealand National Indian Hockey Tournament QBT Queen's Birthday Tournament, coming to you live from the beautiful Puna Sports Centre here in Christchurch. And as we see the aerial shots here, thanks to Local Gecko Productions, fantastic facility and awesome tournament we have here, and big men's match coming up between Pukekohe Indians and Auckland Indian Sports Club. Now I'm joined on the call by Hitendra Patel, who's up in Auckland. Thanks for joining us today. Talk to us a little bit about your involvement in Indian hockey and in the QBT tournament.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Yeah, so I started playing a few matches there for Auckland in a few QBT tournaments, so quite lucky to do that. And then last year I was able to coach the Auckland team, and we had a good tournament winning the Diane Chan, so that was really good for the Auckland team after a while. So they'll be looking here to get across this Pookie side, knowing that if they win today, they're in the final.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does shape to be a massive match here with how tight this men's bracket has been this year at QBT 2022. We've had 3 penalty shootouts out of the 4 games, and this game now serves pretty much as a must-win for Auckland. They will outright win, and they probably put themselves in tomorrow's big dance. And in failing that, will come up a little bit short, and Pukekohe put themselves in the driver's seat with a big win this morning, but it's still anybody's pool here as the other men's game looks to kick off on the second field shortly. Massive implications in both of them. As we see the teams line up here, it will be Auckland Indians in the red and white strip and the Pukekohe Indians in their traditional green and yellows. The game will be umpired by Tom Rutherford and Steve McLaughlin. And it's an exciting game out here. Hitu, you know this Auckland side pretty well. I know you're still in contact with most of these guys and involved in their campaign. What are they looking forward to doing in today's match?
Yeah, I think they'll be looking to put Pukekohe under pressure early on, knowing that if they can get on top early, then you know they're in for a chance, and their equation's easy as they discussed.
Yeah, that's it for them. It's win or nothing. For them, the penalty shootout's not going to be enough for Auckland, and it's a Pukekohe team that put on an impressive performance this morning, putting on a big score.
They're a talented side, and they were very clinical against Christchurch this morning. Pukekohe have always been quite a strong side, and when they pull off some really good team play, they're hard to stop.
Yeah, that's it. I think the neither team, certainly Christchurch didn't play poorly this morning. It was just Pukekohe played very well and were clinical in front of goal, and when they build up and they execute well, they're very, very dangerous, as we see them with the first opportunity here through the penalty corner. As we see the replay, just taken quickly there on the edge and turned in onto the foot there of Prashant Patel, I think, for Auckland. Pukekohe will get the first look at the set piece. It's Nitish Sukha. He'll line up to flick, but of course it's big bad Dylan Patel in goal for the Auckland side. I can't quite see a number there, but it looked like Shea Iswa potentially down there. A little bit of an early one. A little bit of a miscue there. It was actually a corner that used earlier this morning, the little left layoff looking for Hiddish Dyer there. And Travis Hari makes a good tackle there on Jeff Fitzwalter.
Yeah, the Auckland team are missing some experienced players this year that won last year, so they are pretty youngish side, but they do have enough talent to get through this game.
Yeah, and it's certainly obvious in how close these matches have all been over the weekend that all teams certainly have it in them to go all the way. It's just which ones can show up game in, game out for 3 or 4 in a row over the weekend. It's Jared Panchier just rolling the ball back to his brother at the back there. It's Travis Hari on the ball. And Daniel Panchier. Oh, a little overrun there. And Auckland Indians will have an opportunity to come forward here.
Yeah, look to Shea as well up front to create some good opportunities for Auckland. He was very good at last year's tournament and instrumental in the win. He'll be one to watch today.
Yeah, it was also missing at the recent Heritage Hockey Tournament. You missed his presence going forward for the New Zealand Indian men's side. Just his pace and speed going forward and attack. So I think something that they missed a little bit, the Indian side at Heritage.
Yeah, definitely. Again, there was a few key players missing at the Heritage Tournament for the New Zealand Indians. So it was a younger side that they featured there, but he was definitely one of the players that they were missing for sure.
And here's Pukekohe Indians coming forward here off the turnover. It's Hiddish Dyer there. There's Panchier and Suka at the back, who's often instrumental in this Pukekohe Indian side. That's great work there by Pukekohe, and good defensive effort. Defense out there by the Auckland Indians. I want to work out calm here. Good composure and good. Only as far though as Jeg, and good defence there by the Auckland side. Both teams, I think, it's just kind of feeling each other out a little bit and throwing different looks at each other to see what's happening and what's not happening.
Yeah, I think the Auckland defence is holding strong, and you are right. I think the teams are just testing each other out. Looks like Auckland are trying to stop the midfield flare of the Pukekohe Indians at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how they go forward off some counter-attack hockey. Yeah,
and it's something that, you look at some of the names and there, certainly Jared Panchier comes to light. You really want to stop him running forward at pace with the ball and numbers ahead of him, because he will light up pretty quickly. Same with Brett Menezes, who's played well this weekend as well.
Yeah, some very good talent in that midfield, and the less they're on the ball, then the more chance you have as the opposing team, right?
Yep. Yeah. Cool thing about these QBT tournaments, and guys that have played a number of tournaments, they all start to know each other and where to attack and where to defend and who they need to keep off the ball. So tactical adjustments become really interesting quarter by quarter from a coaching perspective. What teams are looking at doing, because there are some real threats on both sides of the ball.
And both teams have some really good coaches, and Stephen Jennis, who's played for New Zealand for a long time. Yep. Very smart hockey brain, and Keaton Hari for Pukekohe, again, just a really smart hockey brain to do different things to exploit each other quarter by quarter.
Yep. Ball out to play here, and a little opportunity here for Pukekohe Indians as they break out. That's great work there. Travis Hari will just step onto the ball there for Puki. These teams of course, the neighbours. I'm sure there's been many battles at a QBT between these two sides. It's
always the games to watch. The Puki Auckland. That was the final last year, Puki Auckland final, and at home at Pukekohe, and it was fair to say it was a very competitive match.
Yep. Here they come, Auckland. Good turn of pace there, getting around Nedish Suka. Travis Hari will just work out with Suka. He does well there to earn the free hit. You can already tell here, Hitu, it's loud. It's not a big home crowd, but those that are here are loud, and those that are on the field certainly vocal in their the way that they play. So it's an exciting one already without a goal on the board.
Yeah, very much so, and I think, Pukekohe again going for another win this tournament. There's never a doubt they come to tournament always wanting to win, and same with Auckland, and so there's a lot of chatter, get behind each team, and makes it for a competitive match. Yeah, and the added, I guess, excitement that is what lies on this game for both sides makes it awesome as well. It's more than just a pool game, that's for sure. I think any Puki Auckland game is probably more than just a pool game anyway. For sure. Yeah, I think this first quarter, as you can see, it's a little bit ping-pongy, a little bit both ends of the field without really any genuine things happening at either side, but the first quarter break will be real telltale of what these coaches are looking for and what they can see in this first quarter. Like I say, some great minds in the coaching boxes of both sides, so it'll be really exciting to see how things change each quarter. For sure, yeah. There's a lot of great talent out there as well to be able to execute some of the plans that I'm sure the coaches will have up their sleeves. Yeah, now awesome is it that we can bring this live to everybody up and down the country and outside of the country too, thanks to the broadcast. First time it's been done properly with QBT, and we're loving being here and being involved in this tournament. It's such a great spectacle for hockey in general, but of course Indian hockey in New Zealand. So the fact that we can get it out to everybody is fantastic. Yeah, agreed, and I think it's such a great initiative that we're able to broadcast this live on, all the social media forums for people that, couldn't travel to Christchurch, and people that are away that obviously have connections to QBT, they're able to watch us online, so appreciate Gecko hopping on board with us. Yeah, and it's certainly, Christchurch obviously one of the tougher QBTs to get to. For a lot of people, so the fact that we can have as many people following along on the website and on the Facebook and on YouTube as we do really shows the growth in the community that is Indian hockey, and it's important for continued growth as well. Yeah, agreed, and I think that rallies into the start of the Heritage Tournament, which is now broadcasted, and it's just really good to get hockey out there, which is not really a sport that has been, so it's quite cool where it's going in terms of getting it more broadcasted. Yep, obviously we couldn't put the tournament or the broadcast on without the help of some sponsors and some awesome work that they do, so I'll take a quick moment to thank the property boss, Dawson's Insurance, One Foundation, Radar Direct, and of course Bayleys, who continue to support Indian hockey, the New Zealand Indian Sports Association, and the work we do with Local Gecko Productions to provide this platform for our players and grow our community. So without those guys we couldn't do all of this, so an absolute thanks, and we love the support. Both teams here sort of going for a three-quarter half-court press, not really pushing out, just sort of testing the waters and sitting back and waiting for the counter-attack by the looks of it. Yeah, it's teams that can both attack at real pace. So you can see guys on either side that
as soon as something does break down, they can really have a crack at a team. So it's trying to look to force the other into the mistake first, I think, more than overshowing your hand and potentially making the mistake first. It's a boxing match at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with a game beforehand, you know, the legs are something you have to look after. So it's a pretty good tactic to use early on, and then you might look to be a bit more aggressive in patches of the game to see if you can, you know, get the upper hand at some stage. But
yeah, absolutely. And there's that midfield they don't want running.
Yeah, exactly right. Jared Pancher on the ball there.
Yeah, I love telling the story from, it was a national under-21 tournament up in Whangarei a few years ago. I think it must have been Auckland v Southern, and Auckland had been up for a long time in the match, and at that point Kane Russell was playing for Southern, and Jared Pancher was playing for Auckland, and Southern finally come down. They earned themselves the penalty corner, and Kane Russell flicks one, and Jared Pancher, it was in the defensive corner bracket, but he picked the ball out the back of the net, walked it up to halfway, waited for the umpire to blow the whistle, walked through most of the other teams, scored the goal, and they went to the final and won it against Canterbury. And it was just one of the most unreal things that we'd seen. As he beat another player, the crowd just got louder and louder, and he walked the ball up by himself, put it on halfway, and away he went. And it was something pretty special. A 20-year-old Jared
Very
Pancher.
much a talent.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a very, very talented player, very skillful.
Oh, and there's a great turn of skill. That's fantastic work there. Up on the baseline, tough to defend. Ball on string there. There's Jujar Singh.
Yeah, he played well in the last game too. With,
he did.
Skills there. Very tight on the skill set there. Really, really good.
Yeah, and it's a nice use of the depth in the V-drag as opposed to, you know, just the left to right or right to left. He really pulls it back into his foot position and makes it pretty hard to turn on comfortably for a defender. So it's, tight skill. He's earned his team another penalty corner down here, and it will be Suka on the first bracket and Singh on the second.
Good
Fantastic save there by big Dylan Patel. It's a nice glove height for Patel, but you know, it still needs to be saved, and he's done well there, keeping his goal clean so far. Yeah, and how important does that serve, Hitu? You know, we talk in coaching and commentary and stuff all the time about those 2 or 3 minute periods either side of a quarter break. You know, just how much influence a goal there could have meant going into the break for Puki, but big play by Dylan Patel means that they don't get that advantage, so huge.
Definitely, yeah, huge save, which, you know, as you know, is could be a game changer sometimes. So great save by Dylan, and you know, again, he plays some really, really good hockey in terms of his saves. Last year he was phenomenal in our final, which we ended up winning. So they'll look to him to, you know, stop a lot of the attacks, especially on the penalty corner threat of Nita Suka.
Yeah, and he's a real leader out there too, is Dylan, really vocal, gets his troops rallied up, and just serves as a good anchor at the back there in the defensive group. As we see some of these highlights from the first quarter, this was really early in the quarter. That was Singh again in the penalty corner, and there was a little bit of uncertainty around this corner pulling out at the same time as the whistle. They went to this left variation trying to look for Hitesh Dyer, but didn't come off. And both teams, while they had a little opportunity going forward, neither with a real, until that last penalty corner there, a real crack forcing a good save. They got the entries, but just still in that period of feeling either team out and seeing what the other will do. And this was Singh again with that. Yeah, that V-drag's pretty tough to defend there when it gets ripped back in under your feet. And this was the most recent flick and save here. Yeah, lovely save by Dylan Patel for Auckland Indians, and the game, as the teams come out here, still locked up at 0-0, no goals either side, and other than that last one, nothing really testing of the goalkeepers just yet. This game will start to turn up as the quarters progress and hits, we mentioned the coaching exploits of Steve Jennis for Auckland Indians and Ketan Hari for Pukekohe Indians. It'll be really interesting to see what adjustments are made here after that first quarter.
Yeah, for sure. I think they may either just continue to play and just keep testing the waters and probably protect the midfield a lot, because both teams have some pretty good midfield. But yeah, there'll be, I'm sure, a few changes along the way that the teams look to exploit.
Yeah, I think where you get the where you'll get the real coaching adjustment is if a goal is scored. When that happens and you start to get some real heat in the game and the directives start to turn up a little bit, that's where you'll see some really interesting options and ploys from the coaches. Or if it gets late in the game and Auckland are still chasing that win that they need.
Yeah, for sure. It already looks like Auckland have decided they may press a little bit harder in this quarter. You saw Shea there just stepping up a little bit.
You can even hear it from a couple of the players on the field, yelling at them to get up, yelling at them to press out, not sit back. Again, perhaps it's playing with that first 5 minutes out of the break where they could really try and turn the volume up a little bit on the Pukekohe side, and you talked about putting some pressure on them. Pukekohe again just happy to sit out to this sort of 65 kind of just in front of half court press here that they've got. Remember they're
it's important Auckland just keep building it up here,
yeah,
rather than force it through the midfield like that.
Yeah, they'll just run into traps and 50-50 intercepts that they don't need to. They want to move that midfield around more than just going one or two out like that.
Yeah, keep creating the 2v1s. It's really hard when you play against a half court and you don't shift the ball or you don't shift yourself. You don't really create anything. So it's important that Auckland just keep moving the ball, moving off the ball to just create those 2v1s.
Yeah, here's nzisa, so you can already see up a little higher, probably closer to a 75 here, but looking to target the open wing halves here, close off the other side of the field, and here they are getting numbers around the ball. That is the pressure. Neats does well there. He's pretty cool on the ball as nzisa. It's good ball movement there by Auckland. They need to keep that moving, keep pulling those Pukekohe midfielders up closer to the press, and then they'll be able to work in behind. I just want to draw those midfielders.
The main idea is just don't force it too much. Just keep moving the ball, find the opportunity, and then go forward. Yeah,
otherwise that happens. That's the force there that they just don't need to do when they've got possession. So
unlucky there.
Yeah, it does come at the end there, the penalty corner after.
It's come, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit unlucky, but we got it in the end.
Yeah, it's yeah, that was the force that probably just didn't need to come there. They'd moved the ball well, and they probably could have just rolled out again and tried to keep shifting position, but the force turned into the intercept, and then that means backpedaling pretty quickly. It's another penalty
just
corner.
A little bit of experience I think they need back there to go, a little bit of patience, just keep moving the ball. It's okay to hold position for a little bit, to keep manipulating, the Pukekohe press.
Yep. Yeah, but it will be Pukekohe with another opportunity, their third one from the penalty corner set here. Oh, and it's Singh there with the option off the second bracket. Just goes wide of the post there. Fortunately for Auckland Indians, not troubling the goal, because he did get it off with a bit of heat.
He did, and they used that last game to decoy nzisa there, and using Singh, who's also a pretty good drag flicker himself.
Yeah, it's such a bold call not to run full noise at Nedish when he's sitting up there at the risk of letting him flick.
I think most teams plan to just run Nedish down as, you know, he's a very good flicker, so you don't want anything going past, and you want to limit, you know, as much room as he has.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he does get those corners, you know, top corners, bottom corners.
Yeah, and here's Auckland, just keep moving the ball. Again, Puke Indians just content getting everybody in behind the ball, making sure they're in good spots. Freeman's in a pretty good space there. I think Daniel Panchi is playing it at the moment, just sitting in a good hotline zone. They'll know they want to play well, but they don't necessarily have to be the one to force the hand first, just with the way the equations work here. They'll know that the longer they can starve Auckland out, Auckland will have to play that hand earlier than they will. And they'll still want to play well. By all means, they'll potentially have a final to play tomorrow, but in terms of overplaying it, certainly second game in the day and third game in 2 days. That's better. That's better from Auckland there, just pulling
better
out.
Oh.
That's the opportunity. So you can see there when they keep it short, draw that Pukekohe shape out of what they're wanting to sit in, and maybe even invite the free man up a little bit closer to play. That's how they're going to get through that sort of block or half-court defence. There's Jared Panchier just linking up there. Panchier again on the ball. That's a phenomenal pass. It didn't quite link up there with...
Such a good eye.
Yeah, to be able to turn on the spot and hit that in under a player. It's...
Don't think his teammate was ready and waiting for that one.
I don't think anybody thought he was going to get it through there. And here is Singh again. He's tidy on the ball. Oh, wow.
Oh, save again.
That's on both sides of the ball. Fantastic option there from Jig Kishore to just roll it to Hitesh Dyer, but equally fantastic save by Dylan Patel, diving out to his stick side. Yeah, this already has the feeling of a final. Yeah, it's, you know, you, little saves like that. That's the stuff that wins finals.
For sure, and it just keeps you in the game longer, you know. And as you talked about, the longer this goes 0-0, you know, Auckland might have to start playing expensive because they do need the win. So Dylan's definitely keeping that one out for now.
Yeah, that's it. You know, if Pukekohe do manage to get the first goal here, it's really going to turn things up for Auckland. They're going to have to go twice as hard and twice as early, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
If that happens. So, you know, he's got to keep them in this match for as long as possible. Otherwise, they're going to have to play 40 or 50 minutes chasing.
Yeah.
So here comes...
So he's made some pretty crucial saves for now.
Yep, absolutely. You know, we've, I'm sure, both been in games where your goalkeeper can turn the game just like that with a couple of really good saves. And they're so influential when they are on fire. Work here. This is a great poke tackle there. Needed to make it because I think he was about to shoot on the reverse stick. Both teams just doing enough at the moment, isn't it, to keep the other team at least off the scoreboard. Starting to see little cracks either way, and it'll come from fatigue and errors, and as well as the tactical adjustments that come. Auckland again just happy to sit out in that just above half. Again, a real show of class here by Jared Panchier to just let that one roll through. Some brought down there quite by Hitesh Dyer, but they get the ball back through Panchier, and it's not the person coming forward with the ball that you'd want if you're Auckland. Wow. That is very, very nearly there by Divin Parsot in front of goal.
There's a good passage of hockey there by Pukekohe creating that opportunity.
Oh. Everything he's touching at the moment is gold, and not touching. Jared Panchia, that's a hell of a stop there. Jig just rolls the ball back out to Nedish Suka. He's got Jared Panchia again on the left, and he's cleaned up well there by the Auckland defender.
Good tackle.
There's Alex Dio there for Auckland, just coming forward the right hand side, and that's a real turn of pace there. Nedish Suka just wins the free hit there, cool as ever. Links up with Jignesh Kishore. Stephen Parsot. This is a lovely bit of play here by Pukekohe, but well defended and good shape there by Auckland Indians, just to not get drawn 2 players to the ball. When the ball's moving so quickly like that, it's easy to think, oh, I'll just chase the ball around and lose my man. They did well there.
Yeah, both teams are defending really well here, making some good tackles, being patient, not rushing in, which is some of the keys to defence, and I think that's serving both teams really well.
Yeah, it's a testament to good discipline and organisation in the defence. Knowing roles and knowing who's the free man and understanding what you're trying to achieve as a defensive group as Jeff Fitzwalter comes forward with the ball here for Auckland Indians. It was very nearly an opportunity in front of the goal of Suresh Wallabhan, goal for Puke Indians.
Yeah, good to see S-Man back in goal.
Yeah.
It's been some time since I've seen him back in.
Yeah, he's too busy cooking in the kitchen from his Instagram, is what I've seen.
yeah, for sure. Tasty food on display from him.
Yep, yeah. Perhaps that's why the food tent's not in full swing. He's out here playing.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. No one to run the good feed.
Oh, and here come Pookie on the turnover. Here's Jared Panchia. They want to hold the tackle on him. There's good patience there defensively, not to try and rush in on that.
Yeah, very, and I think Jared's one of those players that if you don't hold up, he will look for you to make the first move and beat you, but the moment you delay him or hold him off, that's really, really good defending.
Yeah. Yeah, and there comes the free hit for Auckland Indians just to relieve a little bit of pressure. Out they'll come through Alex Dio on the ball, who I thought was very good at the recent Heritage Hockey Tournament for the New Zealand Indian side. He and Nedish Suka played really well together at the back for the Indian side.
Alex is another very good player, and he'll look to run the Auckland defence here.
Oh, and here's Jared. He just picked up that reverse stick pick intercept really well. Auckland are going to come away quickly here, and this could be an opportunity while Pookie have numbers up the other end. And it's worked out by Suka and by Hari there. And that's the big bomb exploits of Nedish Suka. And that's the end of our second quarter. Still scores locked up at 0-0 between Puke Indians and Auckland Indians in this final men's match of the day. While we're on the other turf is the Wellington against Christchurch game going on over there. Big game. And again, playing for tomorrow's final. All teams still in the running, depending on how things go in these games. But an exciting first half that we've had here in this this game hits. It's neither team really wanting to make that big first show hand error, but starting to grow in the opportunities. Both goalkeepers now being asked to do a little bit more in that second quarter, and I think this whichever team can gain the ascendancy in this third quarter is going to go a long way in this match.
Yeah, definitely, and we're looking at some of the penalty corners here, and Pukekohe have earned a few penalty corner opportunities, whereas Auckland haven't quite got there at this stage. So it'll be interesting to see in the second half when they do start to step it up to chase that one goal that they need.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be exciting to see when they kind of pull that trigger and have to go. If we get 10 to 12 minutes into this third quarter and it's still sitting at 0-0, does it start to happen this quarter, or do they think they've got enough in it to wait for the fourth quarter if need be? So, what they don't want to do is leave it too late, score a goal, and then give Pukekohe a chance to level it back up.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think we're starting to see Auckland combining here, just like in this play here, and creating their own opportunities as they shorten up the game.
Yeah.
It's another good save there by Dylan Patel, and I think both teams are exploiting the outside quite a bit. Here's some good outside attack, and fair to say Pukekohe have had probably some of the better chances. But both teams are defending really well, making some really good tackles. Yeah,
absolutely. It's I'm really excited to see how this game unfolds. So with how much is riding on it, this Auckland team, as we mentioned, are going to need the outright win to get over the line, and see some of the great shots here. Thanks to Local Gecko Productions. Both teams are nice and tight, talking about their plans for the third quarter. Pukekohe will be the draw will be enough for Pukekohe Indians, but Auckland Indians will need the outright win to book themselves a spot in tomorrow's final. It'll be a big day here tomorrow down at Ngā Sports Complex here in Christchurch. If you're in and around the area, make sure you get down here. As we see Stephen Jennis there, the coach of the Auckland Indians, just talking through his plan and tactics for the next 30 minutes of hockey. Obviously, we all know about his experience at the international level and what expertise he brings. And we actually see there in the Puke team talk, it's Jared Panchia leading a lot of the discussion and conversation. And I'm sure Kit and Harry would have had a lot to say as well. But that's Stephen Jennis and Jared Panchia, two guys who have played a huge number of international hockey games, really leading these teams into what they expect going forward here in this the second half of hockey.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having this experience, and it's good to see Jared out at these sort of tournaments, with his great talent, being able to sort of play at these things is really helpful for Indian hockey in general. So to have him lead, and Kid and Harry in behind there as well, and then you've got Stephen Jennis on the other side, what a great role model to have coaching you and give off his experience. So look to both teams to start exploring that in the second half, I think.
Yeah, we just see off camera there S-Man and Dylan having a good little sumo wrestle in the middle of the field. The two goalkeepers have gone their opposite ways now, but Suresh just booted the ball past Dylan and called it 1-0. And back they go to their respective cages for the remainder of the match. But it will be third quarter action coming to you from Ngā Sports Complex here at QBT 2022 between the Pukekohe Indians in the green and yellow and Auckland Indians in the red and white. Scores still locked up at 0-all, though a good quality and exciting match here. Wherever you are viewing, whether it's through the New Zealand Indian Sports Association website or Facebook or the YouTube, welcome. Thank you for joining us of live coverage of Day 2 of QBT 2022 from down here in Christchurch, hosted of course by Christchurch Indian Sports Club. And what a great tournament it has been thus far.
Yeah, and really great facilities in Christchurch there at Puna.
Yeah, a real world-class facility here. You know, from the pitch, the playing surface, the car park, the venue, the grandstand, everything here is to an international level, and it's you know, a real testament to all those who have put it all together here. You know, obviously the damage done to the previous turfs through the earthquake, and Christchurch now have a real international quality facility here at Punawai. Here's Auckland Indians with the ball deep in their own quarter. Alex Deal will come onto the ball. What do you reckon about that hits? I don't know if you notice it on screen, but how often do the old overhead flickers just spin the stick in the hand a couple of times before throwing an overhead? You reckon it revs up a little bit more power, or?
Maybe that's what it is that whole, you know, give it a little spin and might get some added power out of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
I'm always interested to understand why they do that.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that like to give it a little spin before the overhead.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I only spin the club after I flush a 6-iron, not before I do it. Oh, very nearly an opportunity there. Yeah, absolutely. That's a lovely entry ball there for Pukekohe Indians. And yeah, you notice a few of the overhead guys just give it the little spin. Same with the drag flickers when they set up. Yeah.
Just give it a bit more power, maybe.
Yeah. You get the revs a little higher. Auckland Indians on the ball here. They're just pushing forward through their left half, and the ball just gets a little bit too far in front of him there. As we see Big Suresh going for his run into the corner. Trying to keep warm, I'd say, more than anything.
Yeah, I'd say if it's pretty cold down there, he's probably just trying to keep warm.
Yep.
Not sure he wants to do too much running today.
No, absolutely not. There's Travis Hari for Pukekohe Indians. Brett Menez is there on the ball for Pukekohe. He's really grown over the last 2 or 3 years, and especially with his involvement in the New Zealand Indian men's side at the last couple of heritage hockey tournaments that he's played really well.
Yeah, for sure. He's been very instrumental in that New Zealand Indians team at the heritage tournament. I've coached with his dad, Jude, for a long time, and seen Brett grow up, and yeah, he's really taken off, Brett.
You actually had a message just earlier. Shay Iswar putting on a little bit of a source clinic there. Yeah, I had a message from Jude just earlier that he was watching along from Tokyo. Of course, over in Japan at the moment, and loved the shout out from the previous Pukekohe men's match when I mentioned about Brett and the coaching Jude was doing. So awesome to know that it's being watched all the way over there. And of course, he was back during the last heritage hockey tournament, came and joined in on the final while he was over for Easter weekend with his family. Of course, seeing Sylvia and the kids. It's awesome to have Jude and Brett, of course, still involved as much as they can be.
Yeah, definitely right.
Here it's starting to get drawn out a little bit. Here, both sides starting to just push a little more.
Bit of confusion there.
Yeah.
Not for the umpire though. Umpire's pretty certain. Game's opening up a little bit here with a bit of, you know, back and forth, and sense something is brewing, I think.
Yeah. Team's just starting to look to push a little bit more here, get a little bit higher in attack and stretch a little bit further to push the pass and try and get that advantage on the good ball movement. Good tackle there. This is Panchir, and he's linked up there with Jignesh Kishore. He's got Hitesh Dyer in front of him. This is Jig Kishore here for Pukekohe Indians. Great defensive work there by Alex Dio. He'll win his free hit out, and
yeah, he's very strong back there, Alex.
Yeah, fortunately get to see him a fair bit playing and coaching in the Midlands Intercity comp. See him playing for the Collegians club down there in Waikato.
Nice.
He's, yeah, good strong defender. He plays you know, alongside Stu Pitu and Ben Tanner, some guys who can you know, work their way around the hockey.
There,
yeah, hockey park pretty well. So he's learning from some of the best on field.
Which is really cool and what you want to see in hockey these days, you know, the ones like Stu Pitu who's still playing and able to continue to offer their knowledge and experience to these younger players. It's really good to see. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, there's been some quality players come through that club and under the on-field tutelage of the likes of Stu. And yeah, it's great even, you know, Matt Rees-Gibbs still doing a lot of playing and coaching at the university club, and Ruben Andrews playing at Hamilton Old Boys. These are guys here that, you know, can really start to influence this next group of players coming forward. So, and here is coming forward Alex Dio, just trying to chop one through the defence, and they will win.
Oh, penalty corner.
Penalty corner here. And it was that press forward there by Alex Dio as he turned on the inside of Jig Kishore there, and maybe a little fortuitous as he just batted it through the defence there, but it will be enough for the penalty corner. And I don't want to make too many calls based on what I've seen on the video, because the umpires are a lot closer than I, but you take what you take, and Auckland will have to make the most of this opportunity that they've been given.
Yeah, and sometimes things like that happen, you know, and at the end of the day the umpires are the one managing the game, and just got to get on with it. And I think Pukekohe just need to get their mindset to defend this.
Yep, absolutely. They'll have to keep this one clean. They've obviously Auckland have weathered a couple of penalty corners at the other end. So
Munraj Gill at the top there.
Great save by Suresh. Oh, and it's an opportunity going forward if they can link up. Great trap there by Hitesh Dyer. And ball forward to Jig Kishore. Great tackle there. And pick back. This is starting to get exciting here. This third quarter was always going to be the one that heated up if it stayed close, and here we are. Remember, Auckland need the outright win. It was a tidy flick there by Munraj Gill off the first bracket. Great save by Suresh Wallab in goal.
Munraj Gill is a very good flicker. He scored quite a few goals for the Auckland side last year. He was instrumental in their sort of ability to win the tournament. So yeah, if they get a few more penalty corners, he's a real threat there.
Just a little miscommunication there between the two Pukekohe Indians players. Jeff Fitzwalter will come forward here for Auckland. It's heating up all right out there.
Ooh. Definitely heating up now.
Yep. This is QBT and this is passion. Yeah, I mentioned.
And it's Auckland Pukekohe, always very extra passionate.
Yeah, and I mentioned Gia Fitzwalter out there for Auckland Indians. He also one that came through playing under Stu Pitu at the Collegians Club, and out here for this Auckland Indians side.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty well this game, Jay has, so you can see some of that experience rubbing off.
Big Dylan making the wise play there of just keeping the foot angle closed and making sure it didn't make it any further than the 5 yards in front of him before it went out over the back line. Oh, and here's an opportunity. That's not a man you want with the ball. Hiddish Dyer. He's usually deadly in the circle with even the smallest bit of space.
Yeah, he's one you don't want to give an inch of space to. He's a very good goal scorer.
Great save there by Dylan Patel in goal. It was a good shot by Jared Panchier. I think he was probably trying to get it just a little further across the front and maybe towards the stick of Dyer, but called the save anyway. Had to be made.
Good run around the outside.
Another solid bit of defensive work from the Auckland Indians. Both ends being called on even more so in this quarter than they have been already in the game. And so far, both defensive groups up to the task.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with the defensive ability of both teams here, because there have been some pretty good attacks, but each time the defence has stayed strong.
Yeah, and as we're down inside the final 2.5 minutes of this third quarter, the scores remain locked up at 0-0. This is a big game in the grand scheme of things here at QBT 2022. Auckland wanting to, well, both these teams obviously wanting to be in the final again, but the way things are laid out, they're not going to be able to get there. So this becomes who gets there. Auckland needing the outright win.
It's going to set ourselves up for a good last quarter, I think.
Yep, and it could be this 2 minutes before and after the break that tell the story.
Getting great defence there by Daniel Pincher.
It's great to see him out here playing, and there's of course Jared Panchier, and there's numbers forward here. It's Hiddish, Jig. Oh, this looks like a maybe pulled up lame with a hamstring there. One of the boys for Auckland. Yeah, that's not. I'm hoping that's just cramp. Here are Puke Indians, and there's Jared Panchier, who's been everywhere.
Probably been a bit too much on the ball as far as Auckland have been concerned. Oh, another great opportunity there for Pukekohe.
Yeah, Divin Parsot is the one who just didn't quite get onto the end of the nice build-up play in the previous sequence, and very nearly created another one there. Well, as we count down the final 30-odd seconds in this third quarter here at QBT 2022 at Ngāpunawai Sports Complex here in Christchurch. There's Auckland Indians in the red, playing Puke Indians in the green. Auckland Indians needing the outright win. Puke Indians a draw or more will be enough. And here's an opportunity here. And that is time on this third quarter of action here between Puke Indians and Auckland Indians. Again, if you're just joining us, big game on the men's A bracket of the QBT tournament here. Hits, these will be big team talks, these quarter breaks. Obviously, Stephen Jennison to lead this Auckland one, and Keaton Hari and Jared Panchier will lead the Pukekohe one. What do you think Steve's saying to the boys, the Auckland boys at the moment?
Oh, I think he's just going to say keep the pressure on. You know, I think they're defending very well, and they've started to have some more attacking opportunities, and just keep the pressure on the team because they've got nothing to lose. So look to them to be more pressing and more aggressive, and try to find that elusive one goal.
Yeah, that's it, and that's what it may come down to. Just a single goal here. You know, to be enough for Auckland if they don't concede one. But it's going to be an exciting 15 minutes, final 15 minutes of hockey here. What do you think Keaton and Pup are saying to the Pukekohe boys?
I think a lot of it will just be around the execution. I mean, they've created probably again more of the opportunities like he was seeing on screen. Just missing that last connection or that last touch. But they've definitely had some really, really good opportunities. So for them, it will just be about execution.
Yeah, and they'll...
both teams definitely stepped it up in that third quarter, I thought. So we're set up for a very exciting fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it'll be the team
just
that
saw that
can...
last good shot.
Yeah, it'll be the team that can play as error-free, but clinical as possible, because the legs are going to start going here a little bit. It's the second game of the day for all of these guys, and third game in 2 days. And you don't want to have to do extra running.
No, at the same time, you do have to call upon those reserves in your tank system to, you know, hopefully get yourself across the line. And it's a hard barrier to push through, but I think the team that does that best will get that one goal.
Yep. Here are Pukekohe.
Oh, another close chance there by Pukekohe.
Yep.
Missing that one last touch or that
it is.
positioning in the circle to just get it across Dylan there.
It is, and it's something that they were so good at in this morning's game, just making sure that they executed on that final touch. So they know they can do it. It's just making sure that it happens here. To finish this game. There is Jared Panchier. He's going to break outside Fitzwalter. Just looking at what his options are in the circle. Put the ball under control well there, Jared Panchier. And that's going to roll its way over the line. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of magic. Yep.
Yep. And who better than Jared Panchier, right? Just absolute phenomenal skills there. Couldn't shut him down. Give him a little inch of space, and he just used it well on the baseline there.
That's it. Just got given a little too much on that first bit, and it just bobbled in over the shoulder. Jig Kashaw reckons he was probably the one that poked it over the line, but I'd say it was already there when it when he touched it.
Yeah, Jigs probably wants to claim goals, but I'm sure we'll give that one to Jared.
Yeah. Yeah. So now things are going to get really interesting. This Auckland team now going to need 2 goals in this final quarter, and you know, Hits, you'll know from coaching at these high levels, a team doesn't have to score both those goals in the next 30 seconds. They just have to keep sticking to processes, work the advantages that they can, and you know, if they get one, then they can earn the right to get the second one. But I think too often we see teams chase like this, trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink in the first 10 seconds and just go away from their plans a little bit.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think the key is they've been creating opportunities, and they need to just not force it and understand there's still plenty of time left in this quarter. And we've seen teams score in the last, 2-3 minutes, 2 goals. So they just need to stay in the game, trust their processes, and the rest should hopefully come.
Oh, and here's hit a Steyer in some space.
It's a great finish. Absolute great finish.
That's incredible.
He's one guy you don't want to leave in the circle.
No, and he's absolutely phenomenal when he does get some space here. As you can see, stops, turns on a dime, and goes, you know what? there's a little bit of space there, and a little bit of space is enough space. And I don't think there was probably anywhere else.
Concentration from the Auckland team there in terms of defence. He's one guy he likes to get in behind the defence, and if you don't shut him down or you don't mark him, that's definitely something he does. He punishes you for it. So great finish by Hostea there. Yeah,
incredibly skilled finisher. Still at whatever level he plays at. And there's Jared Panchia coming through on that reverse shave trap. Jiggle want this one.
Great tackle.
That's fantastic work there by Jeff Fitzwalter. That's the cool and calm defence that's been taught and learnt through the likes of Matt Rees-Gibbs and Stu Pitu, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
That's brave defence too, to get in nice and close, and you have to on those reverse stick shots. The closer you are, often the safer you are. He's done really well there to disrupt that shot.
It'll be interesting now, 2 goals down, how Auckland take the next of this quarter. I think there's a little element of still being patient and trusting the process, because 3 goals is still doable.
Yeah, well, it's been 2 goals in this 4 minutes, so again, without trying to force it, if they can think they get 1 in the next 5, and then that gives them 5 more to get the final 2 if they can keep putting that pressure on. But they need the ball, and they need to not allow periods of possession for Puke Indians. That's not going to help.
Puke have definitely lifted the tempo of this game this 4th quarter, though. The combinations and the speed at which they're playing now is some really exciting hockey.
Yeah, they're just finding nice pockets of space on the second phase that they perhaps weren't so much in the first quarter. You probably want to see Auckland start to push out a little more at this if they can.
Yeah, it's always hard when you're 1 man down, but I think there's still an element of you can still press if you do it in the right way. I think there's still time to put pressure on the ball. You may have to play without a free man, but there's still elements. You just got to get pressure on the ball as they just turn it over here.
Yeah, and they've done well there. That's a great pass forward from Alex Dio. So Shea Swar if he can turn Panchia back inside. I think Steve Jennis might be whipping on a red shirt pretty shortly. He's itching to get out of that dugout over there.
I'm sure he is. He'll probably claim he's got 1/16 in him or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, he had a garlic naan last night and he's good to go.
Yeah. He's been with the Auckland Indians for a couple of years now with the club side in Auckland, so probably claims Indian heritage through there as well somehow, I think.
Yeah.
We'll just give him a different, maybe, last name or something.
Here are the Auckland Indians just playing forward through the midfield, but again, hard when you're down a player to try and find those 2-on-1s, because the 2-on-1s are often in the opposing favour. It's Minraj Gill. Yeah, and we see they're opting to take the goalkeeper off. These Auckland Indians. So they've dropped that privilege and gone for an extra field player. And they're going to have to make the most of it here. Bearing in mind it is an open goal at the back end if things go pear-shaped. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Hits the logic and ideas and things around taking the goalkeeper off. And, you see some teams do it and it's fantastic, and others do it and looks like they've got no idea that they were going to do it, and they concede just as quickly as they got him off. And there's a real skill to it if you're going to do it.
Yeah, for sure, and I think it's one of those ones where if you don't practice it, it's probably nearly not worth it, because there is a risk to it, obviously, with the open goal. So unless you train, which I'm sure the Auckland Indians have done in preparation for this tournament, it's a very tough thing to do.
Yeah.
I've utilised it quite a bit, but it's something that we practice, like with
Yes.
the Harbour Under 18 men, we actually practice without playing with a goalkeeper in games to make sure we can play it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also, depends on... Oh, that's a bit of cramp on there by the looks of that. It also depends on, how your goalkeeper's going. I would have said before conceding 2 goals there, I would have backed Dylan just to save it, and maybe I'll whip a wing half off and, just go to limited defence and let him save everything. Or, there's different ways you can go at it.
Yeah,
But
there is different ways you can go. Yeah, I think you're right, and sometimes it's what teams are comfortable with, and again, I think if you don't practice it, I'd say you'd need to utilise the other ways, like you've suggested, take off a half, put an extra striker on, play without a free man, really step up the pressure, man-to-man press, and just really pile on the pressure to get that ball back off the opposition.
Yeah. Yeah. But they've gone for this option, and we'll see if it pays off for them. Again, I, like you, have done it to some success. We won a national Māori tournament doing it. We're down 4-2. Took the goalkeeper off, scored twice in the last 7 or 8 minutes, and chucked him back on and won the penalty shootout. So that's similar to last year's final. We were 1-0 down against Pukekohe. And we pulled Dylan off, and we got the equaliser, and Dylan did well, and we won the shootout to win the dying challenge. So it can work, and at times I've seen it not work, and go on the other way and you get blown out by a team. So. Yeah, but you're right, it's all about what are you comfortable with and what have you actually practiced, because here that's fantastic work in front of goal by Nedish Suka. There were a lot of people sweating on that ball across the front of goal.
Yeah, cool, calm and collected there by Nedish Suka.
You'll find Singh going forward, and that bouncing ball will just... you can hear almost in unison 9 out of the 11 Puki players yelling out for the half court. The only 2 not doing it were the strikers that ended up too far up the field.
Wanting to score goals in the open net, I think.
Yeah. That or not really wanting to run back 40 metres to set a press. We always used to hate that after you'd sprinted for a ball up to the corner and your teammates yell out half and you got to run back another 40 metres just to help them defend. No.
Yeah, it's a funny one, that, because everyone's like, go to a half court to reserve some energy, but the poor strikers actually don't reserve any energy. Just run back half the field. Yeah,
and then when you do win possession, you're asking them to run 50 metres again to get ready to score.
Yeah. Luxury as defenders, they just sit where they are. They're happy to do a half court.
Yeah. No, certainly the play here for Puki. They're in the driver's seat, and rightly so with the way they've played their 2 games today. That's
skill.
I won't say what that is. That's tactical. Just drag the back foot through that after you miss on the reverse shave. Yes, Manraj Gill. Great defensive work there by Puki Indians just to get in under that shot.
Yeah, Auckland just need to keep working the ball here, I think, with Pukekohe just going to an 11-man D, 11-man behind the ball, does make it difficult.
Unfortunately, there was an opportunity there if that had come off nicely, but final 2 minutes here. Nedish Suka will send that to the other end with a postage stamp on it, but Auckland unable to pull that one under control, and that probably may just put a wraps on this one. Never want to say never, but 3 goals in a final 90 seconds with no stop clocks is going to be some Herculean effort if it were to come off.
For sure. And Pukekohe just playing field position now.
Yep. Yeah, and they've played well here, Puke Indians. Converted the chances when they came. Stayed in the grind for long enough for Auckland to have to be the ones, I guess, to push a little bit, and they responded well. And executed the better in front of goal of the two teams when their opportunities did come in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've played some really good hockey, and obviously there's been some key players like Jared Pancher who's really taken on the game for them today, but that doesn't go unseen in terms of the defence that Puke have held off some of the attacks from Auckland, you know.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's in these tight and important games where sometimes you need those players to step up and just take the bull by the horns a little bit. Oh, speaking of, there is Jared Pancher. He's going to... and some excitement in the crowd here.
Very skillful player.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have him, playing at our tournament this year, representing Puke Indians.
Yeah, as always, it's hard when you get these New Zealand players who are in the top of their game, and sometimes they miss these sort of tournaments. So it's good to have Jared back in the mix, playing for Pukekohe, and it's good to have him on your side, but it's also great to play against that sort of high caliber player as well.
Yeah, we mentioned, traditionally we would see probably Xavier Guy out here for Puke Indians as well, and he's now playing at that top level. And that's one you don't really...
cake there for Nzisa.
You don't really want to get in the way of that one if you don't have to at 2-0 down. It's well finished there by Puke Indians, and when the crunch came, the big players stepped up, and Jared Pancher, I think, was really good. Certainly not alone. They defended really well for 3 quarters in that grind that both teams had to endure, but they were the better in front of goal, certainly in that fourth quarter, and come away, I think, deserved winners of tonight's match, and it'll set up a big final for them tomorrow. Who it will be against, we're yet to see based on a result over the other side of the field. But we do know that Puke Indians will go forward through to tomorrow's big final here at QBT down in at Puna Sports Centre in Christchurch. And Hits, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for your expertise and your insight, especially with these Auckland boys. It's been great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think it was a very great game, and I think Pukekohe ended up deserving the win in terms of executing when it really needed to happen. So they take that final spot, and it'll be an exciting final tomorrow. Yeah,
absolutely. And for those of you that can't get down to Puna Sports Complex to watch those games tomorrow, make sure you tune in via the New Zealand Indian Sports Association website and Facebook page and the YouTube to make sure you stay up with all of the big games from tomorrow's finals day here at QBT 2022. It's been our final men's game for the day. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow.